Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the LinkedIn Personal Branding Workshop. This is our final LinkedIn workshop of the semester, and we are so grateful that you are all joining us today, and we hope that you found value in the content that Ryan and all of his guests shared this semester. And we also hope that the content today helps you succeed, not only in college, but beyond. So I wanted to start with quick introductions. As you may know, my name is Sarah O, and I'm the career advisor at the USC Career Center. And if you've been with us since the beginning, you will recognize Ryan. So just to introduce Ryan once more, Ryan is a Southern California native and attended USC with a Navy scholarship as part of the NROTC program. And after graduating with a business degree, he was commissioned in the US Navy's flight program. Ryan settled back in Southern California in 2009, working in the e-learning industry, and LinkedIn came along 7 years ago and fit perfectly with his passion for learning, allowing him to live out the LinkedIn ethos, dream big, have fun, and get stuff done. So now he works specifically with California colleges and universities, and his mission is to make sure that every student knows how and why to use LinkedIn to create their professional brand. And today we also have Cesar Romero. Cesar is a second-year graduate student in the Rossier School of Education, working towards earning a master's degree in educational counseling. And he identifies as a Spanish bilingual first-generation student and completed his undergraduate degree in Spanish and political science at the California State University, Fullerton, also known as CSUF. Currently, he has a full-time role as an outreach and recruitment specialist at Long Beach City College, and he has a photography side hustle. Cesar also enjoys running, motivating others, and learning about social media marketing, and aspires to inspire and uplift young professionals. So with all that being said, Ryan and Cesar, thank you for being here, and we are excited to learn from you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here. So I'm going to kick it off and cover a little bit high level about what LinkedIn, where LinkedIn is right now and how we're growing. And then we're going to jump into just all the best practices and tips on how to post content. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quickly. And here we go. Okay. So one of the things that most people may not know about LinkedIn is what our vision is. And our vision is to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. And what that means is that we're trying to reach every single person in the workforce to help them get where they want to go in their career. Like that's really what LinkedIn's vision is, what we're trying to do as an organization. Our mission is to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. And that's really where we're going to focus our discussion today is how do we connect people so that they can be more successful and maybe more productive. And that's really where the content comes into play and being able to put information into the feed that will help other people. One of the things I do want to talk about is our company value of putting members first. That's you all. We want to do that and we want to put members first. And one of the ways that we put members first is by doing our best to eliminate harassment and bullying on the platform. We are unique in that we are a social media platform company that eliminates harassment and bullying. So one thing that, I'm sorry, I'm being redundant there. We eliminate 99% of fake profiles is what I meant to say. So we can't eliminate harassment and bullying, that's impossible, but we can reduce it quite a bit by requiring people to create a profile with a little bit higher barrier to entry and doing our best to eliminate people that are nefarious and are not going to be real. So we don't have bots and you don't have a check mark next to your name because virtually every single profile is an authentic profile. And why that is important to you all is that I feel like it hopefully gives you more freedom and more opportunity to speak your mind, be yourself, and not have to worry about some of the things that you have to worry about on other social media platforms. And that's because we put you first. It's one of our core tenets. Something else that I wanted to talk about is that Business Insider has digitally ranked, done a trust ranking of social media platforms. And for the last 5 years in a row, we have come out and on top. So we continue to be the #1 trusted social media platform, and we're really, really proud of that. Here's some of the accolades that we've gotten through the years when it comes to being a trusted brand platform. So what does that mean for you all? Well, LinkedIn really has 2 aspects of what we try and do. One aspect, which is my day job, is growing customer business. That's what I do for LinkedIn. My role is a sales role. I sell a product called LinkedIn Learning and our LinkedIn Talent Solution to colleges and universities. That's one aspect of LinkedIn. The other aspect of LinkedIn is where you come into play. It's the members side of the platform. And that community is designed to grow your career. How do we grow your career on LinkedIn? And one of the ways we can do that is through content. So let's talk a little bit about where LinkedIn is today that you may not know. Currently, we have over 900 million members on LinkedIn. We're still growing at a rate of 3 new members per second. We've got about 128,000 schools represented on LinkedIn. Those are via the school page. We talked about that on our last session, how you can connect to alumni via the school page, representing over 39,000 skills, and almost 60 million companies are represented on LinkedIn. So our economic graph, and when we think of an economic graph, we think of what data do we have that we alone have because of all of the information that's on our platform with our network and with the people on our network. And so the last thing I want to talk about is really thinking about LinkedIn as a knowledge marketplace. When you post content, you have the ability to be on that knowledge side as a creator, on the insight side as a consumer, really depending on what you want to do with LinkedIn. But this is where we hope after this call today, you think of LinkedIn as a place for you to share your knowledge with other people on LinkedIn. Share your story, share your triumphs, your tribulations, what you've overcome, anything you think that may help other people or may actually help facilitate you and your career down the road. So that's all I wanted to cover with my slide deck right now. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and then jump into LinkedIn, because what I want to do is actually go into LinkedIn and firsthand show you how to post content and all that other good stuff. So let me go ahead and reshare my screen. So let's talk a little bit about posting content and what we do with posting content. The first thing that we're going to think about, right? And we did cover this previously, but I want to touch upon it just for a second or two, is your LinkedIn profile. What you want your LinkedIn profile to be complete and up to date. You really want your LinkedIn profile to tell a little bit more of a story about who you are and where you want to go in your career and what you're trying to do. Those are the things that are going to be really important within your profile these days. And the reason I bring that up is because when you're posting content, a lot of people are going to be clicking on your profile to kind of get an idea of like who you are as a person and what you bring to the table. So your profile is always going to be part of this. There is a question in the chat right now. I want to address it real quickly. When posting content as a creator, are there recommended specific times to post during the week? I've never been told of specific times outside of maybe the weekend, right? We don't have a lot of traffic on LinkedIn, as much traffic on LinkedIn on the weekend as we do during the week. So during the week is really great. And usually from what I've been told is mornings, but we don't have any specific insights that say you should be posting at this time. If I did, I would totally let you know. But I think one other thing to note here is that LinkedIn is not a typical, like, for example, TikTok or IG. One of the things that you need to do with those platforms is post very often. You really only should post once a day. Did I lose you all for a second? I think I froze for a second. You really only should post once a day in the LinkedIn feed. I want to actually ask Cesar, your thoughts. You've been posting a lot on LinkedIn. Have you seen any times when you've been posting where it's maybe had more traction or less traction?
So I wouldn't necessarily say a specific time. I think it's more about the content you're posting, right? If it's genuine, it's something that people can connect and it gets that traction. I don't think there's a specific time, probably not early in the morning, like 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. But I honestly just post whenever I feel like I got something to share with the community. And I've noticed when I spend more time on actually writing a caption that is detailed and also connecting with who I am, and also involving other people in the post by like tagging them, that's when they do the best. But I don't really care that much if it gets 1 like or 20. I just want to like share my post to put it out there.
Yep. I like that. I mean, I think really getting it out there when it's best for you is what I would be doing. Because again, it lowers the bar to entry and it just makes it easier for you to do. Sarah, we were asked in the chat a couple times, when will people have access to recording after the webinar? I'm pretty sure they will. This is getting recorded, right, Sarah? And if you've dipped, we'll come back. Okay, perfect. Claudia asked, how can we make a new job or celebratory posting stand out? I'll cover that real quickly. One of the things that we have in here, and I'm going to jump into LinkedIn right now, so you should be seeing this within the LinkedIn post, and I clicked on that pretty quickly. So to start a post, it's pretty straightforward. You just click on this bar right here, start a post, and under the More tab right here, you can actually click on this Celebrate, and so you can celebrate work anniversary or product launch or something like that. So let's say you want to celebrate a new certification. So you can add one of these to it. Here's the deal. What I think is more authentic is to include something that's a little bit more personal than our off-the-shelf graphics. So when you, for example, are celebrating something, and if you take a selfie or you take a more organic picture, people will resonate with that and that will get more traction. So for example, if you write copy, if you just write a bunch of copy and you don't include a selfie, you get 5 times less views. So you get 5 times more views by adding a selfie. So that's what I would do. I would not add our, I wouldn't add our little information here just because all it does is this little guy, and it's a little bit of a dynamic thing, and people have seen that before. I just think that what I would like to do is just, what I think you should do is just talk about it and then take a picture, or even better, record a video. If you record a video and you talk about why you're celebrating this, and I would really want to make it inclusive. Here's another thing I think is important when you're posting content, is to try to make it more inclusive, which is, I'm happy, and I'm happy for you as a member I'm happy for other members that are having successes. But remember, there are a lot of people out there that are struggling right now. There are a lot of people out there that are grinding and having a tough time getting where they want to go. And so sometimes we have this, what is it called? Imposter syndrome, and you see other people doing all these great things. So what I would love to see with celebratory posts are maybe a little bit of aspect of like what it took to get there, and maybe some of the failures that you had along the way, or showing your resiliency. And if you share that in the form of a video, by the way, the videos get up to 20 times more views. So if you really want to make your post stand out, add a picture or do a video. Cesar, what are your thoughts on making a post stand out?
100%. I think that feature that LinkedIn gives you, it's pretty basic, and I see them all the time, and it doesn't really get my attention. So what I would encourage all y'all to do is get creative. Whether the photos, you can add more than 1 photo. I believe it gives you an option of almost 9 photos. If you know how to use Canva, which is an online free platform that lets you create flyers, designs, anything that you can make it stand out more, that's another great way. And then also in your posts, thanking the people who maybe helped you get that job, right? Because you probably didn't get it on your own. Someone must have helped you out. They shared a link with you. And then just sharing about your struggles. Like for me, I graduated in 2020 during the pandemic. I didn't have a job for about 8 months. And so I remember when I got my first role, I shared about that. I'm like, I remember not having a job and just so thankful for this opportunity, tag the organization. And it just gives more details. It's not so much that you're bragging, you got a new job, but more like I'm sharing with y'all. And then also at the end, maybe adding, I'd love to help you out and share some tips that you can maybe use helpful in this certain position, or maybe just questions about the job search. And I think that helps other people realize that you're not just bragging, you want to share it and you want people to be happy, but you're also there to help people out as well.
100%. Thanks, Cesar. That is exactly right. I love the idea of wanting to celebrate things on LinkedIn. I just also feel like if you can, frame it in a way that is also is uplifting as well. That is super important. Okay, so let's get into like how you post content, which most of you probably know this, but just going to give you some tips on this. And Cesar talked a little bit about it, but here are some of the things that you can do. First is, again, linking to a photo or adding a photo, an organic photo, super important. Let's say you have read an article and you want to post that article. It's really easy to do. So I'm going to go over here to LA Times, right? And I'm going to pull up the LA Times and I'm going to copy and paste this URL right into LinkedIn. Now you'll notice those other icons went away because now you can't add a photo or video because you're actually linking directly to an external website. And you saw how easy it is for me to link to external content. So let's say that you are a graphic designer or you're a marketer or something like that. You can link to your portfolio projects on LinkedIn. You can link to external sites. You can link to YouTube. You can do all of these. You can link to TED Talks. So again, I shouldn't say again. One of the things that's difficult to do is to create content. It's not easy. I'm not a good writer. And so I don't really write a lot. I'll talk a little bit about how that's changed like overnight now for everybody. And it will change again on LinkedIn. But the bottom line is that if you're using other people's content, you can link to that content, or you can link to your external content because you just bring in that URL. Once that URL thumbnail image is here, then all you need to do is delete this, and then you can talk about why you're posting this content anytime. And when we're talking about the algorithm, here's a couple of things about the algorithm you need to know. First thing is that the top of the algorithm are going to be videos and documents. Documents is a newer feature that we have. I'll show you where those are in just 1 second. Videos stay at the top of the feed longer. And the reason for that is because more people engage with videos, especially your videos. If you create your own video, it will stay at the top of the feed longer. The next thing you need to do is, again, adding photos, adding your own organic photos to the content that stays in the feed longer. When you link to external content like this, that will stay in the feed a little bit longer, but you need to post information. If you just post this and you just click post like this, we're going to drop it in the feed very quickly. We want you to show why you're posting it. And so you need to write information in here. So like, I just read this article, and then let's say you want to, Cesar touched upon this, you want to tag people. So I'm going to introduce you to Evelyn here in a second, but this is Evelyn. I'm going to just tag her in it as an example. You can delete her last name, it still tags her. You can write more information. I would write at least a paragraph, a little bit of information, short and sweet, and then throw in some hashtags. We recommend 3 to 5 maximum. So let's say news of the day, right? Whatever. You know how to do hashtags. You know how to do tagging people. I think oftentimes people forget that LinkedIn is social media. This is a quick and easy way to take external content that you've read and link it to LinkedIn, or external content that you've done or external content that you've seen, put it on LinkedIn, frame it. Why am I posting this content? Who do I want it to reach? And then boom, submit. Easy peasy. That is the quickest and easiest way to add content to LinkedIn. Now, I want to go ahead and answer a couple more questions that are in the feed, and then we'll continue on. What are the things we can post or not post on LinkedIn? For example, can we post about an internship we just got, or add it to the experiences and call it a day. So I like the idea of posting about an internship that you got, but I also like the idea of posting about how you got the internship and how many jobs it took, or how, what did you network for the job? So giving people an understanding of the how before the, hey, I got this internship. I think you should be proud of getting an internship. And I love that post. I'm going to show you a post from Evelyn during her internship, and you'll see what I'm talking about, where it's a very, it's a post that also showcases her personality. And so that's another thing I want you to think about, is that when you're posting content, it gives you an opportunity to share your personality. Cesar, what are your thoughts on what to post or not to post on LinkedIn?
So first and foremost, y'all, this is your LinkedIn, right? This is your story. It's up to you. I want to say there's no right or wrong thing. Like, really think about how you want to present yourself, what you want your brand to be. I would encourage you to just be yourself, be authentic, because I feel like when you're authentic, that's when people connect with you the most. If you try to do what I'm doing, it might not work for you. And one of the great examples I give students when I talk about this workshop is, I love to run. I just ran a marathon, right? I posted that like 2 weeks ago, but imagine you don't like running and you think that looks cool. You think that's getting likes, and you post like, hey, I love running. And then someone invites you for a run and you're not a runner. Like, it's not going to make sense. Right. So
Right.
Definitely see what other people are doing, but at the same time, kind of try to find what's your niche, what's that thing that you can talk about. And I'm sure y'all have something that you can write about, whether it's like a hobby, whether you like helping people, whatever it is. Try to find like that main thing, and then from that, branch from it. From my personal brand, I want to say, like, I like to inspire, I like to motivate, and so that's where I'm able to connect all the different pieces. But I also want to say, like, using emojis, right? Seeing how you can add emojis to your post, make it simple. You don't want it to be overwhelming. When people are reading it, it's just like, what catches your attention, right? So make it simple, write an emoji. You want it to be fun, right? You don't want it to be like super long. You don't want it to be like a newspaper. You don't want it to be like another article you're reading for class, but it's more about just like engaging people. And I'm sure y'all are tech savvy. Y'all watch TikToks. Look at TikToks and be like, what's getting my attention, and how can I maybe shift this to LinkedIn, whether that's a video, photos. Photos are great, but I feel like a video really gives another insight of who you are, and it gives you that opportunity to even get more people's attention, because photos won't say much, but a video gives you 30 seconds. If you say something like that, it catches your attention in the first 3 seconds, that already got them hooked. So that's my piece of advice.
No, I love it. I love it. We'll go into a little bit more detail here. One question: do you recommend hashtags at the end or of the text or within? Either way. I don't want you to over hashtag people. Again, 3 to 5 is really the maximum throughout the entire throughout the entire post. Tagging people, I think, is quite effective if there's a reason to tag them. So by the way, a really good call out, Cesar, about adding emojis and being more comfortable being authentic. So to add emojis, you just click on this little emoji icon. I changed this. You can change the skin tone of your emoji as well if you want to do that right here. And then we have all kinds of emojis, and you can actually search the emojis here. So one of the things that I think is important to point out is that what LinkedIn is trying to do, and what we want to do, and we see this with Gen Z and millennials, is really making the platform more authentic. There, you can show emotion and be a happy person, or be, whatever it is, and it still be professional and still be a career focused. And so this idea of professionalism has been hijacked in the past, where you have to act a certain way. I disagree with that. I think I want you to be your true authentic self, and you're going to find opportunity that comes to you is going to really align to your culture and your values more. And quite frankly, I think you'll get more opportunity coming your way if the more authentic you are. So throw in those emojis, and you'll be yourself and have a little bit of fun with this. I'm not saying do a TikTok dance or talk about what you had for lunch, because that's not career oriented. Let's replace the word professional with the word career. And then when you're thinking about your content, thinking about it a way that it helps your career or maybe helps other people in their career, or motivates people, that's what we're talking about here. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to show you a couple of posts, and then I'm going to turn it over to Cesar, and I want him to go into like how he really does a ton of posts. But I want to introduce you to Evelyn here real quickly. So Evelyn is a former student of at USC that I met when she was a freshman, and I want to share with you one of her posts here that is it just kind of is essentially what I think is a best practice when you're posting content. And this is a student 2 years ago. She was currently going to USC, talking about her internship. She says, "I can't believe I only have a couple weeks left in my internship." Tags the company that she works for. This is brilliant because now the person or people that run this company page on LinkedIn, they have a chance to see it in their notifications that a student posted about them, and they can reshare the post, or they can comment on the post, or they can like the post. So it gives this more visibility. She's like, "I've learned so much this summer and had an amazing time while doing it." She talks a little bit about that. Here's a hashtag within the post. And then this is, I think, the stroke of brilliance here, where she goes on to thank her colleagues. These are not students. These are colleagues that worked with her at HPE for this opportunity. And then she throws in 3 hashtags, took a selfie here, or just took a picture of herself, and she got 200 reactions. This was way back in the day, 200 reactions, over 20,000 views. Now, again, this is, it doesn't matter if you get 30,000 views or 10 views or 20 views. The point of posting content on LinkedIn is really to give back to the community. It's not necessarily to go viral unless you're trying to be a creator, which is a totally different thing. And there aren't that many people that are creators on LinkedIn. But this is a great example of how to use LinkedIn as a student or a recent graduate, and talking about your successes and talking about what you learned and showcasing your personality through the profile. Let me show you one more. This is Isabel, and she's another student from USC, and one of her posts that she did a while ago. And she just wanted to dedicate this post to the Hispanic Scholarship Fund, which she was able to get awarded their, she was able to be awarded their scholarship. And she didn't get it the first time. So she talked about this in the post. And again, she tags Hispanic Scholarship Fund. The president of Hispanic Scholarship Fund saw this post, by the way, and then commented on her post and ended up making this go viral. And she said, I played in high school. She had her doubts. She ended up getting it. And she was very thankful. 3 hashtags, took her picture and took the letter. And she got almost 500 impressions. And she has almost 45,000 views of this. She messaged me a day and a half later and said she had 30,000 views within a day and a half. This was her first post, by the way, her first post on LinkedIn. Because she tagged Hispanic Scholarship Fund, she added the picture, and she talked about, overcoming and being rejected the first time and then getting in the second time. These are the types of things that you can showcase on LinkedIn. And again, it's a part of the network and part of growing your network and being part of the community. So with that, I want to turn it over to you, Cesar, and I want you to go ahead and tell everybody how you've been using LinkedIn and show us, best practices from your perspective.
Of course. So I actually started using LinkedIn right after I graduated with my undergrad. Reason being was because I had heard a lot about LinkedIn, but I didn't really know what it was. And so most of the things I've learned have really just been through learning on YouTube, reading short articles, reading, also following people who are already big on the platform. So try to see what other creators or people on LinkedIn are doing who have like a bigger following, and then see if there's anything you can borrow from them, right? And so when I just started it, I was like, I just want to share who I am, what I do. And I'll start sharing my screen so you can see what my profile looks like. Let's see. So right when you get into my profile, I have a picture of me. So if you don't have a headshot of you, make sure you get one as soon as you can, because that already lets people know who you are. They can already see who you are. And then just in case someone is following you or connecting with you on LinkedIn, when they see you, they'll be able to recognize you. And I just came back from a conference and I had so many people tell me like, hey, I've seen you on LinkedIn. I know you. And to be honest, don't tell them, but I didn't know them, right? Which was crazy to me because they know me already, all because I've been posting content on LinkedIn. One of the lessons right there is to make sure I spend more time to see who's connecting with me, because that way I'll be able to recognize them as well. But it just shows you like how powerful the platform is. And so I also have a, on the top of my profile, I have a design that I created. It's really personal. And it's like a quote that I live by and I really admire from Martin Luther King. And it says, the ultimate measure of a person is not where they stand in moments of comfort and convenience, but where they stand at time of challenge and controversy. And so I'm very like equity minded, justice minded. And so I want people to know that, and also put the SC logo on the right. Why? Because people who might go to SC or who like SC will be able to see that, and they might have something to already have a conversation about. I have my names, my pronouns, what I'm currently doing. I have some hashtags, so it shows like what I talk about. I always hashtag USC. I like to hashtag fight on, because that might connect other people, other Trojans in the network, motivation, success habits. And so when I started using LinkedIn, I was more using it to like be positive, to show like habits, very like success coach oriented. And then if you have a website, or if you have maybe like a link that you can share with other people, you can connect them. So as Sarah mentioned in the beginning, I do photography. And so I had my photography page right there. And so it's also another way to showcase your work. On the featured, you're able to add links, which is super awesome. If you've been part of any documentaries, or you've been featured in a newspaper, whatever the case is, find that link and add it, because that already elevates your profile to another level. And so I'll show you some examples. You can also pin a post that you feel like was important to you. I have some flyers. And so I work in higher education. And so for me, being able to showcase who I am and what I can contribute to other institutions is critical. So you also want to spend some time and see what field are you trying to go into and what are they looking for, so you can best showcase whatever your work is. There's also an about section. So like I said, I'm a sucker for emojis. I make it simple, short, and to the point. So you can read it right there. It tells you a little about who I am, what I'm currently doing, what I like doing for fun. And that's another way for people to get to know me without even having to send me a personal message. And then there's another tab that says experience. This is where you're able to add the company or organization you're working at, doing an internship. So think about this as an opportunity for people to see your resume and get to know who you are before they sit with you, right? So on my personal resume, I also have my LinkedIn page at the very top. And so after they review my resume, it sends them directly to my profile. And this gets them another idea of who I am, what I do. There's also recommendation sections, which is super awesome. So if you know someone, a coworker, a friend, a classmate, whatever the case is, you work with them in something, if you can ask them to write you a recommendation on your LinkedIn, that's also something that's going to set you apart, because it's like going that extra mile. It helps people know what you're doing. And it's, instead of me saying like, this is what I do, like, I'm awesome, I'm this or that, like, no, like let other people speak to that and show like who you really are, right? Because if multiple people are saying it, it's because it has to be true, rather you saying it for yourself. And so I encourage y'all to explore that one. And then interest, like I said, like Stephen Bartlett, he's someone I follow. His content is super amazing and I really look up to him. And I want to show one example of one of the posts I did recently. So currently a master's student. I was trying to go for my EDD, but fortunately that didn't work out. I got a no from USC, but I use that opportunity to share it with my network, to show people that, you know, life is not always about success. Life is not always about getting that yes. And so I just shared it with people saying like, no, to me means next opportunity. It doesn't mean like, this is it, I won't ever be able to do it. But you know what? I'm not the only one. And this post did crazy. Like I was just posting it. I don't want anyone to feel bad for me, but I just wanted to know, let other people know that like, you're not the only one. I know other people who apply maybe to master programs or even apply to Dream School and they don't get in. And sometimes we're shy or we're scared to talk about it. But I think that if you're able to share it with other people, most of the people will really just support you. And this one got like 35,000 impressions, 540 likes, 64 comments. I was overwhelmed. All these other people giving me like advice. Someone else was like, oh, look into this program. They're also getting people. And so I just like to share like my failures, my success, because it's not all about success, right? Another one, as Ryan was talking about, showing videos. So this video, one of my students I work with actually recorded it and I posted it on the platform. And so tagging the conference I went to, the organization I work at, it shows you like it gets different impressions. And then when I go to conferences, I definitely always like to take like a group photo. I like to tag the people who are in it. And the reason being is because when you tag people, they're able to use this repost feature. And then most of the time, if they're in the photo, they'll also like the photo, they'll also engage it. And so that helps your profile be like, keep being pushed up, kind of like how the algorithms work. And then another recent post I did was at USC. So just kind of reflecting about how far I've come. I didn't really realize like I'm about to graduate, and just sharing that with people, like saying, I took the time to smell the roses and really just maximize my time here at USC, and also tagged USC, use like 5 hashtags. And as you can see, like not every post gets 35,000 impressions. And like I said in the beginning, for me, it's not so much about the impressions, but more about sharing my story and also keeping other people up to like what I'm doing. And then lastly, this gives an example of like a motivation kind of post. So telling people like, don't sell yourself short, you're qualified, you deserve it, you're capable, you're worthy, you can lead, you know, just being that source of inspiration that I want to be in this platform. And you can see, again, it didn't get that many likes or that many impressions, but for me, I'm not worried too much about that. I just want to use like my platform, my voice here to elevate other professionals, because I know at times it can be discouraging when you're not maybe getting those opportunities, or you might be seeing other people doing quote unquote great things and you're just like, well, I still haven't got that job, I didn't get into that program, right? So really kind of lean into what do you want to share with people? What do you want people to see you as? And this is your brand, like this is your name, this is who you are. Think about Amazon, think about Nike, ask yourself like, what's their brand? What do they stand for? And then kind of apply it to your personal life, because when people see you, they'll be able to connect with you. And it makes it so much easier to network with people when they already know who you are. Because I get people come up to me and they'll just start a conversation off a post I made like a month ago. And I'm like, oh, wow, like you actually took the time to read that. So that's how I use it. I just like to take a lot of photos. And whenever I got some downtime, I'm like, okay, I think I want to post a content, but I never post like more than once a day, like Ryan said. And that's not something that I knew, but I just kind of just think about these things, like what's working, what's not working, and how can I connect with people, because that's ultimately what it's about.
So real quickly, Cesar, thank you for that. One thing I want to point out is you'll notice, I think all of your posts have something, whether it's a video or a picture. I think that's super important. I noticed that you had creator mode on, and there is a question in the chat to talk a little bit about creator mode. You know, what is the difference, and what are some of the things that you think people should know about being, you know, a creator on LinkedIn?
So in honesty, I'm not sure how I became a creator, to be honest, Ryan. I'm not sure if that's something I picked or the platform just gave
You
it.
pick it. You actually pick it. So when you go into your profile, if you want to, you can actually turn it on to creator mode. So it just opens up a couple of different things. So let me share my screen, because you already, so go back to your, or I'll do it real quickly since I'm here. So when you are in your profile, here's my profile. Underneath the resources, you can actually turn creator mode on. This helps you get discovered, and it's really going to be showcasing more of your content to other people in the network. and it gets you access to some more creator tools. I don't really do a lot of creating on LinkedIn. I do resharing and share posts from time to time, but I don't really consider myself a creator. So that's why I don't have it turned on. But I would do a little bit more research if you'd like to see more of what creator mode can do for you. But really, it's just about trying to give people a little bit more of a platform on LinkedIn to share. Another question here, what is the best practice around requesting to connect with people you don't know and accepting requests from connections, people who do not know? This is a really good question. Here is my personal philosophy on it. If you don't have the job that you want right now, I think you should be accepting your connection request from just about anybody. Because here's the deal. You don't know when somebody, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and look here and answer some of these questions. You really don't know when that person you're connected to might be connected to somebody else in the industry that you want to get into, or with some power. We think of networking a lot of times on this first degree and first connection, and I'm going to shake, Cesar's hand, and I'm going to get his business card, and he might help me get a job down the road, which is true. But what social media has done is it's reduced the importance of those people that you know personally, because the people that you don't know personally, are not even close to the number of people that that are your weaker ties in your second and third degree connections. So there's another question in the chat that kind of is tied to this. And the question is, what is the difference between a connection and a follower? And is one better than the other? And so I'm going to tie these two together. A connection is when you reach out to somebody on LinkedIn and you say, I want to basically be a friend of yours. I want to be connected to you. And when we're connected, we now can message each other, unlimited amount of messages. And everything I post on LinkedIn, you can see, and everything you post on LinkedIn, I can see. So if, Sarah and I we're first degree connections, then we have that relationship where she sees my content, I see her content. Now, let's say Sarah is a recruiter, or she is a CEO or an executive, and she's, she may not accept your connection request because she's super busy. Or recruiters oftentimes don't accept connection requests from people they don't know because they know why you're reaching out to them. You're trying to, as a recruiter, they know why you're reaching out. So you would follow them. A follow is a one-way street, which means I get to see all the content that Sarah is posting on LinkedIn, and I can comment on it, and I can be engaged with her feed. She doesn't see my content unless she clicks on my profile. And I cannot message her more than 3 times in a month. And that's 3 times total. I can only do 3 private messages, DMs per month to anybody, to everybody. It doesn't matter. So a connection allows you to do that. And so when I think about accepting connection requests from people, here's the deal. Our first degree connections, let's say, for getting back to the question of accepting connections from people. If I have 500 people in my first degree connection, and each one of those 500 have 500 people in their first degree connections, that means my secondary connections, I have 250,000 people, right? That is a big number. Now, if each one of those has 500 in their network, now we're talking about, somewhere in a neighborhood of 10 million, something like that. I don't know. No, the number of people there, it's bananas. 12.5 million, I can't remember. I don't know. But the bottom line is you have so many people in your third degree connections. And so I think you should accept connection requests from anybody because you don't know who they're connected to, number one. Number two, remember that we eliminate most fake profiles. And so if you're worried about harassment and bullying, you shouldn't get that much on LinkedIn. And if somebody does end up saying something dumb to you, you can block them. And because they can't just message you as many times as they want to, and they have to create another profile, it is not easy to do, you're going to get far less harassment. So the question you have to ask yourself is why you wouldn't want to accept their connection request as opposed to why you would, in my opinion. Lastly, I will say this, that I do get, me personally, I get connection requests sometimes from people out of the country. And so those I might not accept their connection request because my network can't really help them and their network can't really help mine. So that's what I would think of when I was doing that. let's go into some more questions here real quickly. We got another question. How far back should I go on the experience section? You know, the more information you put in your experience, the better. And so we did cover this in a previous session, but I'm happy to chat about it for a second or two. One of the things that LinkedIn sells is this recruiter tool, and 97% of Fortune 500 companies are using LinkedIn. They're paying us to find you. 90% of corporate recruiters use LinkedIn. And so one of the things they do is they do a search, keyword searches or skill searches. That searches the entire profile. So the more information you have on the profile, the better, period. Anybody that tells you that that's not true is wrong. Nobody's going to read your entire profile. So I say you go back as far as you'd like to go. If we're talking high school, put it in there. If you're in college and you haven't graduated yet, put your high school experience. Once you've graduated college, you may not have to have your high school experience in there. But again, that kind of gets buried down and nobody really sees it. But the algorithm does, not the algorithm, but the search filter does. Okay, so I think you should go back as far as you like. I'm a working professional. I returned to USC to earn my MS in criminal justice. Can you please share more about hashtags or provide a resource to learn more about them? I'm trying to think. Cesar, do you know of a resource on hashtags? Or what do you, when you're posting hashtags, because you're doing a lot of posting, what do you do? What do you think about when you're putting out hashtags over there?
So for me, and I'll post one, like an article I found about LinkedIn and hashtags. I just think about the main theme of the post. So for example, if I'm going to do a post about return to school, or maybe I'm graduating from college, I would put some hashtags like graduating, hashtag the school I'm going to graduate from, USC, hashtag what do I identify as. So for myself, I'm a Latino. I'll put like hashtag Latino, and then maybe one more hashtag that says like maybe like fight on. You know, it really just depends. Like trying to find 3 to 5 hashtags that relate directly to the post. And the reason why the hashtag is important is because if someone looks up those keywords, it's more likely to pop up in that algorithm.
Yep. I like it. Here's another thing that's a really good question, because it leads into one thing I was going to talk about how things changed overnight about a month ago or whenever ChatGPT came out. With AI being accessible for everybody. If I'm in your situation, I am using AI to help me craft my posts. You can go into ChatGPT right now and say, here's what I'm trying to post. You know, write a short post for LinkedIn and give me 3 to 5 hashtags, and it will do it for you. So there's no excuse now for any of us not to be able to post content regularly. By the way, if you haven't heard of this, Microsoft does invest in ChatGPT, and Microsoft Edge, which is our what is it called? It's not, Chrome, it's our browser. So Microsoft has a browser, kind of like Chrome or Firefox or Safari. Microsoft browser is called Edge. Within Edge, and you sign up for Bing, you actually get ChatGPT embedded in those, and LinkedIn is going to be having a ChatGPT extension as well. So pretty soon, you're going to be able to have AI help you craft these. So for those of us that are, again, a little bit older and not accustomed to posting and figuring out what kind of hashtags work, you just go into ChatGPT and it's going to help you out. It's going to tell you, it's going to help you with the post and help you with hashtags. You might even just type in, hey, what hashtags do you think would be great for this post? And that will help you. So now we have technology that's kind of bananas. I do think it's important to have your own writing style and make sure that it's your own, but sometimes the creation of the content, like it's easier to have an idea about what you want to say, harder to figure out how you want to say that idea. And that's where I think ChatGPT and AI is changing the game for all of us, because it frees up more time for us to do like our day-to-day. And then we can say, I have this idea, help me formulate something to say about it. Boom, it does that. Then you can add a picture or record a video and share that. There is a question about using credits to increase followers. I have never heard of that. So I don't think that is something on LinkedIn. If it is news to me. And again, I'm just a lowly salesperson, so I don't know everything. There could be something where you can increase followers that way, but I've never heard of it. When you become a creator, you do not just only get followers, you can still get connections. You can still grow your network. I'm pretty sure, Cesar, you've been growing your network as a creator, correct?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So there you go. Is there a list of skills that can be added to your LinkedIn profile so we get more strategic about the type of skills we add to our profile? No, we don't have that. We do have let me see if I can find it here real quick on my other screen. And if I can find it, I will pull it up for all of you. Give me 1 second here. I need to have this. Yeah, here we go. So this is, let me go ahead and share my screen real quickly. This came out a few years ago. Nobody really knows about this. This is called the Skills Explorer, a Career Explorer, and this is part of our Economic Graph team. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this in the chat. All of you have access to the chat. So I'm going to drop it in for everybody. This link is free. This content is free. And what it's meant to do is it's meant to be able to tell you, I'm going to fly through here real quickly. It's meant to be able to tell you where your skills transfer, right? What a lot of people don't realize is that if you have a career as a server, a lot of your skills transfer over to, let's say, sales. So if we go, more of a similar score to low, we can say that, you can operations coordinator and food server, you have 50% of the skills already. But your question was, what are the skills we add to be more strategic? Go over here and you can type in your role. And let's say you're an administrative assistant. You can say, boom, I'm an administrative assistant or an administrative manager. Here are all the skills, and these are the top skills in order. So these are the skills I would have on my profile, 100%. This is free, easy to get. We don't have it yet on LinkedIn.com. We're probably going to be getting there soon. So the one point that I should limit the number of skills on my LinkedIn is true. So Tristan, you could put 50 skills on your profile. So if we go over here, within the profile section, I'm just scroll down real quickly. Under the skills section, you can put 50. Now, back in the day, our recruiter tool, and I will show you this recruiter tool real quickly. This recruiter tool, I'm not authorized to view this. Oh, geez. This recruiter tool is what college and universities pay for. And one of the things that you can do with this recruiter tool is you can actually do an advanced search here, and you can search for skills. This is what most of our recruiters do. They use this skills section and they use this keyword. Before 3 months ago, the skills, when they typed in, I'm looking for a certain person with a skill, it would only search this. Today, it searches every word of your profile. So to answer your question, type away, put a lot of information, put a lot of skills throughout your profile. There is no maximum. Yeah, put as many as you can because you never know when you're going to get found. Does LinkedIn Recruiter and recruiters pull from a skill set? Oh, Evan, I just answered that question. Basically, when we used to, with the recruiter tool, only search again the skills section. Today, when they type in a skill, it searches every single word of your profile, every word. So super huge change, very, very big change. Oh, wow, Betty, this is located on the right side of my page. Grow your followers, 250 credits available. Interesting. I do not know what this is. I have to do some research on that. I'll do some research on that. And I don't know if it's 250 InMail credits. I don't know if you have premium or not. So I'll do some research on that. Is this on my page too? I don't know.
I believe it's just a credit to send to people, like an invite to connect with you. So this is mainly for like people who are barely starting off. kind of like
Mm.
LinkedIn encourages you to send it to people so that they connect with you. So let's say I'm not connected to Sarah or Ryan yet, it might pop up on mine like you have a credit to send it to them.
Got it. Okay, I'll do some research on that. To Cesar's point, so what we do a little bit differently than most platforms is we don't want you to blast 1 million people and try to grow your network that way, because that's what bots do and spam does, and we don't want you to be spammed. So what that might be is, yeah, what we want you to do is we're going to let you do this to 250 people just to get you started. But pretty much so when I recommend to grow your network, I recommend growing at 5, maybe 10 people per day maximum. That's what I would do. Is it for pages? We don't know. I don't know. I gotta find out about that. You all have asked good questions. I don't know. Is there a way to organize skills so you put the most important on top? Crystal, you don't need to do that. Don't even worry about doing that. If you wanted, again, to kind of use AI and ask it, what are the most in-demand skills for this position, and put those at the top, that'd be great. But truth be told, now that we changed our algorithm, now we changed our tool, it's more equitable, and you're going to be able to just make sure your skills are in the profile. That's what I would do. Well, we're right up on time. I really appreciate all the questions that you've asked. Cesar, is there anything you want to say to wrap up?
I would say just be intentional about who you're connecting with. Anytime you have an opportunity to connect with someone, whether it's at a conference or you meet someone at school, I think the best way is to get their name. And even I have this app, it's called, I think, Hello Me, and it's like a business card. You can't see my phone, but it's a business card. People scan it, and then I link my LinkedIn to it. And so then that's a way that they can connect with me on the spot. So definitely I'll encourage you to spend some time creating your profile, make it as unique as possible, upload your headshots, and then get that link. And then when you are at like networking events or even like on Zooms, you can just copy that URL, throw it in the chat, and then it makes it really easy for people to connect with you. But I would say don't let this be something that stresses you out. Instead, use it as an opportunity for you to share who you are with the world, and whoever you're meant to connect with or whatever position you're meant to get. I think that if you're your true authentic self, you'll end up in the right spot.
I love it. I think we're all good.